Hello everybody, this is Simon with Let's Play Sonic 2006. Before we start, shoutouts to regular commenter Anthony Loyan. He suggested that I add a silver medal counter, and that's a great idea. I basically patched the game with the functionality that it should have had to begin with. Thank you also for the insightful comments, Anthony. Everybody should read them, he also does stuff like glitch explanations. Alright, Crisis City. This level has probably the biggest gap between potential and execution in the game. It has an iconic look and soundtrack and was rightfully chosen to be this game's representative in Sonic Generations. Here, it starts with snowboarding and ends with max speed. What else is there to say? These jumps are still insanely difficult to pull off. There is going to be a few intercuts where I show how they should go, but for example here, it just sometimes doesn't quite line up, does it? So I even nailed the jump, but I have to be a little bit more to the left, and trying to get this correct is terrible, and then stuff like this happens, and this is going to happen a few times. So generally this can look fine if you just hold forward and go down slope all the time, but if you don't, if you get hit at any point, if you snag a corner, then it's going to become very awkward very quickly. It's not quite as bad in my opinion as the White Acropolis part, because that one is much more let's say jagged, but still here with the hitboxes and the enemies just spawning out of nowhere, unless you already know this level, it's going to be extremely tough for you. And then stuff like this happens, for example. I had to leave a few blunders in because this is just how this game goes sometimes. This also gives me the opportunity to try again for that first jump. Don't get hit by the car because it will get you off center, and there we go. This is how it should look like. Again, this looks awesome if it works, like, you know, most of the game. Just to show this off from a different run, yes, this is how this should look, wonderful, and then you get the silver medal here the normal way, but as I showed off, you can also get it a different way. Back to our regular run. This also gives me the opportunity, the counter that is, to show off where we are, if we are in an extra segment or in the normal run. Amazing. So this one is also kind of hard to get, but fortunately I kind of know how to finagle my controls by now. While I do that, let's look at this here, another jump which I only got on replays, and I failed this one. It only really deposits you up there, so you don't miss much. And yeah, this is just, you know, it's snowboarding, or in this case skateboarding, I don't know what exactly to call it. It just plain does not work in this game. I am extremely sorry. This is about as good as I can make it look. But it's just the way it is. This is what happens when you stay on the bottom path. There is no real advantage to staying on any of these paths, to be quite honest. Going top level doesn't really do anything. There's no silver medals hidden up there. Fortunately, it would really suck if I had to nail these jumps here. But enough about that, we are entering the fun part of the level. This is where the new rail physics in Sonic 2006 actually come into their own. You do not snap from rail to rail anymore, you have free movement, and it actually works most of the time. Sometimes it does not. Let's forget about that. A good thing is that you can now homing attack two rails, so you do not have to adjust in mid-air to perfectly hit the rail, which is something that plagued heroes a lot. You want to stay down here, don't take the obvious shortcut. Some awkward wall running, and often this doesn't work. Some slight correction at the end, and whew, I did it. And this staying up here again gives us another silver medal. Whew, high action, high action. This is actually pretty cool. I like this part. Yes, the rails are pretty janky, like everything is, but I posit that they are better than they have ever been before, because you can homing attack to the rails. Just going back a bit here to show that I missed a checkpoint, which is a bit unfortunate, and also an extra life. This stage has a lot of extra lives, which is basically code for, oh yeah, we know that this doesn't work and you will get killed a lot in many Sonic games. It happened in Shadow as well. It's just like, oh, there's a lot of extra lives in this stage. The designers know that it doesn't work. Amazing. I also like this part here. It's just like very nice going around this building, and then a light speed trail. It's really cool. And this, I don't know what happened here, but this always happens because the camera is blank. And another time here going off the rails would be suicide in Heroes, for example, but here it just works. Anyway, let's show off how this actually goes, because this rainbow ring is extremely hard to hit. Another run. There we go, and we miss this one up there, and we do not actually land here to get the lightspeed trail. It's a bit weird. I don't know how to get this one up. It seems like it would be... Oh yeah, the homing attack left me here for a second. It seems like it would be designed to go from the rainbow ring, like as a reward, but it does not. Anyway, this to the left is the normal way up, but let's just show off the lightspeed trail real quick. There we go. And we just land up here, and this basically saves us a jump. And yeah, this tends to happen here, where we're not actually homing attacking towards the 1-up box, but actually just land on the floor and accelerate off. This plays on its own. Kinda neat, kinda neat. One issue here, the ring trail is misplaced. You will never ever be able to pick up those rings. Amazing. It happens a few times in this game. It's not finished, guys. It's not finished. Then you break through the wall here, and another cool homing attack chain, and actually something here which trips you up a lot. You have to get this 10 ring box. You will not reach this guy otherwise. The homing attack just drops you too early. Something I've alluded to in the intro already, very early on, but the homing attack sometimes just is inadequate, and this tends to get you killed because the range is just too small, and then you drop like a stone. So yeah, get the 10 ring box. Going up there is actually a significant shortcut. I don't know why they put the rail so offensively here. This is a bit of a failure in the level design and communication of where you want to go, because again, you miss the checkpoint if you don't deliberately drop down, which is weird. This is like the intended rail, but you can immediately skip this bottom section. It's extremely easy. I could also keep going here, but I'm not going to, because aha, maybe you've already seen the silver medal in the distance. There it is. This is how you get it. At the bottom there's just a bit of combat. Also an advantage of this part of the level's design, you do not have to engage with the enemies much, except to use them as homing attack targets. This is awesome, this looks great, this is how this entire level should have been. Set piece to set piece, all of these buildings exploding around you, fire shooting up from the ground, which does not actually harm you, because it would be cooler if it just looked dangerous, you know, but yeah. Anyway, into the tornado we go. This part is also something which is pretty cool in concept, but again terrible in execution. If you keep homing attacking here, you will always drop down. You have to make sure that you know exactly how much distance you can cover with the homing attack. If you play this your first time, you will die all the time, because this is really punishing. A big step up in just normal execution of difficulty and platforming. And then you have stuff like this. This is just how to get this medal. I did it once without dying. It is possible, but I didn't want to sift through like tons of footage, and yeah. The fun thing is I actually did get that. You can frame advance the video if you want to. I did, because I was really confused, but yeah, just got the silver medal. It's amazing. You see, here, it's not there anymore. Anyway, let's keep going. Here you also have to have some patience because of how the things move. This reminds me of the worst levels in Shadow as well, because there is some issues there. And again, I've dropped the homing attack, didn't quite latch on, and only because I know how the air control in the game works, I didn't die here. You die here all the time. Again, there is a reason why there is so many 1-ups here. I am definitely showing off how this game can work if you know how to do it, but I am doing the real experience a bit of a disservice, quite admittedly. A new player will have game over here at this point. It is that hard. Anyway, just a quick look back what we missed, jumping off this worm here. By the way, the worms haven't mentioned yet. 3 hits to kill them. Hit 1 up here, by the way, at the very start. Just didn't find a better way to put it in. And I'm going to show off how the homing attack would work then. Like so. And so, and then I can drop here, wait, and now you can hit the next bird. Anyway, the worms take 3 hits to kill, give you 300 points, like every enemy that takes 3 hits to kill, and then you just basically have to attack them when they're not spewing fire, or you homing attack them, which makes you invincible. That's basically it. For now, there is a few more wrinkles to them, but we discuss that when we play as Silver. Anyway, let's go on. Most of the routes I've shown off here. It's nice that there is some variety to what you can do, and now one of the worst silver medals to get, because this is completely intuitive. Yeah, sure, this is exactly how it's intended. Awesome, perfect, they did a great job. I've read guides where they're like, oh, I have no idea how to get this without getting the purple gem. This is how you get it. There is just a hitbox there which you can stand on in mid-air. Amazing, isn't it? Wonderful. I'm super happy that it does work, however, because that means I don't have to get back to this level with a later optional upgrade. You can get all 10 silver medals here. You can even get them without dying, but... Okay, let's start the mark speed section. This one here is really bad. The problem here is not quite that you have to try to find your way, weave around like in Wave Ocean. The problem is here that the tornado keeps throwing stuff your way and there is absolutely zero way to dodge it. Also, silver medal in here, by the way. It's extremely hard to miss, but it is in the central stack of boxes. You have to depend on one of the cars. Whoops. my mistake, one of the cars to destroy the stack of boxes. Sometimes the car does not destroy the stack of boxes and you just run into them and you're sad. You'll probably still get the silver medal. But here, like all of this debris, everything, every little thing, every physics object can hurt you. And you will get hurt a lot. It is basically impossible to do this without getting hurt. And with basically impossible, I mean good luck. You really have to just hope and pray that you do not get hit here if you want a high rank, as we're going to see in the end, because I do have the S rank for this level. I will show it off, and it is awful to get, but I was a bit lucky. Anyway, just generally, this is just straight away. And did you see it? Yeah, I missed the last silver medal. So here is a bit of a supercut of me trying to get it, because again, jumping in Mach speed, you are locked in your trajectory. So if you do not jump exactly right, then you will not get the silver medal. Silver medals in Mach speed sections floating around is awful, because the hitboxes are far too tiny. They should be at least twice as big. Like a small intersection with Sonic's hitbox should be fine. This is just a regular mistake, just something that can happen. You get hit again and again. Now I jumped a little bit too late, so Sonic was a bit too high. It sucks. I died a lot here, and you don't really see it from the life counter, because you can get over a 100 rings if you are not super unlucky at this point. So theoretically you can try this as often as you want. It's just going to suck a lot. I got this here. Fortunately you can hear it if you get a silver medal. Let's finally keep going. This is the final part of this. There is also going to be cars coming at you. This is also a spot where you're like, oh, do I have 150 rings? Should be good. Yeah, well, here 200 rings, for example. Great. If I can keep those to the end, this is why I restarted. If I keep the 200 rings to the end, I will get the S rank, but I got hit. Absolutely not my fault. There is nothing I could do there. Absolutely nothing. And at this point, I'm like, okay, you know what? This is not going to be an S rank. But again, if you want to, you can keep restarting here, get 100 rings, get an extra life, so you will not game over if you are somewhat experienced. And at some point, you might make it to the end with 200 rings, 20,000 points, and you will get the S rank. That's what I would have needed here. As you can see, the time bonus is high enough, plus the ring bonus, and I would have gotten it. But alas, not in the cards right now, but I'm going to show you a far better looking full S rank run after the cutscenes are done. So click ahead for that, and or stay tuned. I will comment over it, and I hope that you will enjoy it.
No matter where we go, all we see are ruins. How can this be our future?
How could it come to this?
Could it be true? If I eliminate that guy, will our world be saved?
The day of disaster. Here are my records of this event. This was when Iblis was freed, and his flames were released into the world. And you have this person to blame.
I see it! So that blue hedgehog's the Iblis trigger?
Blue hedgehog.
I'll send us back in time to the point when the Iblis trigger was alive. What the? Who was that guy? He looked just like Shadow.
This is terrible! According to the data, the princess died when she was kidnapped by Eggman. Apparently, Eggman's battleship exploded! The date of this incident was 2 days after the Festival of the Sun.
If we don't return in time, Elise will die on board Eggman's battleship. That means...
Yeah, I think so.
You guys are so slow. Look.
A Chaos Emerald! You've already found one!
Well now, I may not look it, but I'm a real treasure hunter. Unlike a certain echidna I know.
What? Heh.
Have you guys discovered anything?
Yeah. I received a signal indicating there's a Chaos Emerald here, but...
You mean we've got to go through there?
If you don't like it, you can stay here.
You've got to be kidding.
Don't be late. Same to you.
As I've mentioned before, White Acropolis, Crisis City and Flame Core are an unbroken string of levels. So next time there will be another big level video straight away. What is pacing? S-rank time. First of all, a quick question. If I get the S-rank immediately, I like to contrast it with the normal run where I bumble around everywhere trying to get the medals, so there's a clean, good looking run at the end of the video. However, if you'd prefer them to be separate, like for the Wave Ocean video, feel free to pipe up and tell me. It's no big deal for me to upload more videos. Anyway, as to the subject matter at hand, what I'm doing here is basically just hold forward. As I mentioned in the normal video, this works well enough if you just keep going straight. And don't try to do any tricks, don't try to hit the ramps, it doesn't matter at all. All of the rings you get here are 10 points each because you will lose them all, latest in the mark speed section. It doesn't really matter what you get on rings before that. And as I also said, there is plenty in the mark speed section. If you can carry some of them to the end, it's going to be fine. This section here, you're just trying to get through it as quickly as possible, get a few points here and there, because why not? Like here, for example, I tried to get these 3 ring boxes, but okay, anyway, and overall it doesn't really matter too much. So just keep going here, get through this as quickly as possible so that you can get more attempts at the actually tough parts of the level. Overall, as with Wave Ocean, it helps if you don't die here, if you get a buffer of points, kill a few enemies that are in your way. You're looking for a high time bonus in the end, so that your rings plus time will be enough, so that you don't have to carry that many rings, so that you can get hit early on in the mark speed section, get a lot of rings later on, and that's fine. But as I said, if push comes to shove, if you really want this S rank, then just dying in the mark speed section and just trying for a high time bonus and ring bonus is fine. It will work out. It's how the speedrun does it, so I know it works. But also just mathematically, you can take a look at how much I would have needed in my normal video, and you can see there. Yeah. So here I go back for 500 points combined, 300 for the worm, 200 for the extra life. I don't think it's super necessary, it's just something which gives me again a bit more of a buffer. Otherwise just keep going, you want the time bonus to be high at the end. Generally here again 200 rings for free if you can hit this nice, 1000 points more, but you don't necessarily need it. This is just a bit more buffer again. You will see in the end I got a lot more points than I need to, but this is basically because I didn't die. If I did die here and lost all of this, then this would have just been wasted time and I would have still gotten the S rank. So maybe you just want to speedrun this. It's hard to tell, basically. It all depends on how successful and how consistent you are at the end. And it can only emphasize enough. The mark speed section works kind of if you know when to jump already, if you know how to keep completely straight in a line and just jump over those obstacles. I'm going to discuss this as it comes up, of course, but I don't know what this just was, but whatever. But generally, what all of that you do here might be wasted. Just you have to be realistic about that. Anyway, finally reaching the last part of the level here. Not much to say here because most of what happens here is basically automated. It looks cool, but it's basically automated. Have I mentioned already how annoying this is on real hardware with how many loading screens there are? It's terrible. It's really bad. And then you game over and you have to watch all of this again. It's not fun. And every death adds 1 minute loading screen. It's fantastic. Yeah. So here basically again just try to be a little bit conservative with your homing attacks. You can chain them less than you think. Sometimes you have to do actual platforming, like here for example, homing attack, stop, don't try to home to the next one, it will not latch on. Now you can latch on, and can I get this? Yeah, wonderful. This is how this looks. It doesn't really do much for you. This worm will always get you if you don't know it's here. It's so bad. It's such a trap. Really annoying. Here again, do not try to overcommit. I've died here a bunch of times in the past. Now I know that this platform cycle you won't make it unless you're a speedrunner. Just wait one cycle and jump when it's at its lowest point. Here, this platforming is easy enough if you know how the game works. If you don't, why are you attempting an S rank? Don't do this when you're not practiced. Generally, I haven't mentioned it enough yet, but this part is cool. Like all of the homing attacks from bird to bird, you have to adjust a little bit and then you get the spring at the end and get propelled forward. I like it. It's good. This is how the game should play like. This is how the game should look like. It often does not, but this was fun to record until this happens. Of course, yeah. So again, I have a nice buffer of points, and what I'm trying to do here now is just stay on course. Don't die, get as many rings as possible here, because again, every ring is 10 points more, but overall just don't try anything stupid like jumping for those ring boxes. Never do that. You can use the ring trails here freely to reorient yourself, not the one in the air. That just doesn't work. You have to jump over those pipes perfectly. Here again, just hammering the action button, making sure that I'm getting on track, and I was super lucky here. When the camera switches, you will, let's say 60% of the time you will get hit, no fault of your own, because you can't see stuff coming from behind, and even if you could, it's just a shotgun of debris. It's extremely difficult. Like here, this car could have hit me, but it didn't. Great, I was just very lucky here, and this is why I have 200 points. That's 20,000 in ring bonus, and it doesn't matter. I could have died here and just gotten the same run in the mark speed section with the 34,000 time bonus, and I would have still gotten the S rank. So keep that in mind. It is not that hard to get the S rank here, but boy, do you have to be lucky in the end, because there is no strategy I can give you. If you are lucky in the lark speed section, you will get the S rank. That's it. That's all I can give you. Please let me know what you think of the medal counter, and if you think it's better to keep the S rank videos separate. If you enjoyed the level of effort I put into the video, consider feeding the algorithm a bit. Thank you for your attention. The reward are some glitches.